Well, we're back in the studio now. Welcome back. We have a couple of new guests joining us here. We have Fran Urati from Home Festas Bay State Properties and Glen Cammarano from Muzzy Motors, a couple of active businessmen who've been around in the community for a while and can sort of give us a perspective on economic development issues in both Needham and Newton. So, gentlemen, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having us.
All right. Let's start out by, I guess, giving a little bit of information about your past involvement in some economic activities in the area. I know you've both been pretty active, but maybe Fran.
Sure. I spent 10 years on the board for the Newton's Economic Development Commission. We advise the city on ways the city can improve themselves, help development, and raise the tax revenue and create jobs. Great. And I also serve on the Chamber's Board of Directors for many years, and now I do the Economic Development Commission there. Yeah,
great. And Glenn?
Tom, I've been on the Board of Directors of the Chamber for about 6 years now, and I'm on the Council of Economic Advisors in Needham.
Great. And also active with the Chamber as well, too. So thank you both. Now, Fran, I know that in some of your involvement, you get to talk to a lot of business people. Sure. You're, as a business owner yourself of a couple of businesses. What are some of the comments that you hear on a day-to-day basis from people?
As far as
about doing business in the city and that sort of thing?
Mostly it's Newton's unfriendly to do business in. I think there was a great article in the Boston Globe that Newton ranked at the bottom of business-friendly communities. People get frustrated with the process. The process that we have really doesn't work that well. People would like to see it streamlined. And there's more a level of frustration to get something done. We're not even just approved, but a decision one way or the other. It's not getting it approved, but tell me yes or no. That's a long, drawn-out process, and there's really, it's arbitrary, and people are frustrated by it.
So the frustration leads to people then not doing a project?
A lot of people don't come to Newton for that reason. Mm-hmm. A lot of people who are already here in Newton, maybe they just say, you know what, they throw their hands up and say, I'm not going to go through with it, or instead of going for something that would be highest and best use, they go for something a lot marginal that they could get in. And it's basically lacking opportunity. They don't capitalize on the opportunities that we could have here.
Right. Okay. And now in Needham, I get the sense that there's a little bit more of a friendly or receptive attitude in Needham. Is that the case in your experience?
It seems to have a little bit better reputation than Newton. On that council that I serve on, a lot of the decision makers from the town are on that board, and they're all very energetic and engaged and really want to work on economic development. They see the importance of it, and they're looking for tax revenue to help fund the budget in Needham.
Yeah, that's encouraging. I mean, I agree. I tend to hear more of the about the obstacles in Newton than you do from Needham business owners. So, so you're both the co-chairs of the Chamber's Economic Development Committee. So I guess you can both answer this. But what role do you see the Chamber and its Economic Development Committee playing in maybe trying to level out the playing field a little bit here?
Well, I think the best thing we can do is make sure that the decision makers in the city and the town hear from the business community and get a even-handed view of the issues, not one side or the other, to make sure that we're making informed decisions.
Yeah, I mean, and I live in Newton too, so I'm not just a business owner, but I live here. And it's the same thing on the residential side. People are frustrated. What I see the Chamber's role, the decisions you make today are going to affect your future. Mm-hmm. The decisions we made in the past are affecting us today. When things were booming, we didn't look at economic development. We stifled development. And I'm not talking overgrowth. I'm talking smart development. But we stifled it, and we're paying paying for it today. Mm-hmm. We don't have the tax revenue coming in that we need to have, and people are frustrated by that.
I think that's a good point. As a tax revenue, and a lot of people overlook that sometimes. Is that growth doesn't always have to be bad. It can be a good thing if you're generating positive revenue.
Right. I mean, I think you have to mitigate the situations where wherever you do development, there's going to be issues in the neighborhood. You have to mitigate them, reduce them as much as possible, but you still need to have growth. You need to have development. You can't just keep on going back to the citizens and taxing them, and the businesses also, and taxing them and retaxing them. You need to have new growth. And I think that's been stymied over the years. And it's poor decision making over the last 10 to 20 years that have led us to where we are today.
Mm-hmm. There's certainly a balance. And I know that Needham's been had a downtown study done. Right. And I've seen that study, and it's a nice combination of economic opportunity for businesses while maintaining the sense of community and the feeling of the downtown. Sure. They looked at both sides very carefully, and I think they got a nice plan that they're going to have at the town meeting here in May.
Yeah. I mean, that's a perfect example where the chamber stepped in. The chamber helped fund that project. They needed revenue for that.
Yes.
Chamber stepped forward and helped fund it. And that it was a great, they looked at revitalizing it, not just for the business community, but for the villages as a whole and the people who live in that area.
Right. And I think an important part of that is trying to offer incentives to developers to do things that are going to be good for the developer for sure, but also good for the community.
Exactly.
You know, so are there any, Glenn, from your perspective, are there any types of other incentives or business programs from the state or federal or even local government that you would like to see businesses being offered?
Well, the council's looking at 43D, which is trying to expedite permitting in the town of Needham, and it's not a hot topic right now because the whole permitting process, it runs fairly smoothly in the town. But I still think it's something we should be looking at.
Yeah. Now, in Newton, there's a mayor's race going on, and I guess if you, in your dream world, what would you like to see from the new mayor in terms of business development?
Well, I think the first thing that whoever comes in as the new leader needs to look at what we're doing now and find ways to improve it. Yeah. If you can shorten the process, make it more, like you said, make it more streamlined, or just give a roadmap of what you have to do it, that would be great. On a bigger level, I think the city of Newton, they're not going to make any more land. So I think the city of Newton needs to develop parcels that they would like to see developed and develop them to the highest and best use to pay for the things that we need. I take the Riverside Tea Station. The T wants to develop that site. You can have direct access off of 128, so it'll limit the traffic on Grove Street and the rest, and it'll bring in $2 million worth of tax revenue to the city of Newton if they allow that type of development there. Too many times we focus on, the immediate abutters and not what's best for the city of Newton as a whole. And I think we have to take the broader picture and say we need that revenue.
Yeah, big picture thinking.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And again, identify the sites that you want to develop and get your maximum dollar, your highest and best use out of those, and pick other sites that we say we don't want a lot of development over there. Right. And keep the neighborhoods, keep the villages intact. Don't have that urban sprawl that we're starting to see now.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Well, some good messages for us to get across. We've got about a minute left, and in that time, we're a Chamber of Commerce, so let me give you each an opportunity to maybe say a few words about your own business.
Sure. I used to have Urati's restaurant here in Newton, but I also run Homevestors Bay State Properties. Have you ever seen the big yellow billboards that say "We Bugly Houses"? That's us. About a week ago, I launched our own radio show. So myself and Mark Rosenthal used to be with Channel 5. We launched The Real Deal on realestate.com. It's on WBIX, 1060 AM, Tuesday through Friday from 5:30 to 6:30 at night.
Great.
And Tom, my family runs Muzzy Ford and Chevrolet on Island Ave in Needham. We've been there about 75 years. We're on our third generation. We sell Fords, Chevys, fix, a service operation, and we also have the car wash world right next door.
Yeah, great. Which we certainly, the pollen has fallen, so you got to get over there.
Come on by and
keep
clean
your
it
car
up.
clean, right? All right, gentlemen, thanks so much for being with us today. We really appreciate you joining us and sharing your thoughts on some of the issues in both communities. And right now, we recently had a big event at the Chamber, Spring Seasonings, which Fran was a significant creator of many years ago. We've got some clips from that. It just took place recently. It was a lot of fun, a big community event, and we're going to cut away right now to some clips from Spring Seasonings.